Jason had always been a practical man. Living alone in a small apartment on the edge of New Metro City, he had grown tired of doing everything himself. Cooking, cleaning, and even grocery shopping had become more of a chore than a necessity. One day, while scrolling through his hollow screen during a lazy Sunday morning, he noticed an advertisement. Experience the future. Your personal robot maid delivered in 24 hours. It promised efficiency, perfection, and the kind of care only a high-end robot could provide. Jason laughed at the idea. A robot maid sounded fancy, futuristic, and maybe a little too good to be true, but he had nothing to lose. He placed the order, imagining the sleek, metallic assistant he'd seen in the hollow ad. A small, polite machine with soft, glowing eyes that would tidy his apartment and prepare meals without complaint. The next day, a delivery drone landed softly on his balcony. Jason rushed to the door, expecting the shiny robot from the commercial. Instead, the door slid open and there stood a woman. Not just any woman. She was unlike anyone Jason had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly with a soft, pearly hue. Her hair, long and silvery, seemed to catch the light and glow like moonlight. Her eyes were large, almond-shaped, and an unusual shade of violet that made him feel both curious and cautious at the same time. She wore a simple, form-fitting outfit that glimmered slightly, like fabric woven from light itself. Jason blinked. Hello?" The woman smiled softly. Her voice was melodic, almost musical. "Hello, human. I am Lyra. You summoned a helper?" Jason stammered. I ordered a robot maid." "The one from the hollow ad. You're not a robot." Lyra tilted her head slightly, studying him with those strange violet eyes. "I am not a machine, but I am capable of the tasks you require. Cleaning, cooking, organizing. I can do all these and more. Your specifications were noted." Jason scratched his head, unsure whether to panic or laugh. "Wait, what do you mean your specifications were noted? How did you even know what I wanted?" Lyra's lips curved into a small smile. "The order you placed through the system included your habits, routines, and needs. I processed them. I am here to assist you." Jason slowly stepped back, trying to process the situation. He had expected a robot, maybe one that could barely talk, maybe one with pre-programmed pleasantries. But this was clearly not a robot. She was alive, breathing and staring at him with a calm curiosity that made him feel observed. I think there's been a mistake," he said cautiously. "I didn't order an alien." Lyra shook her head. "You ordered assistance. I am what was available. I can fulfill your request fully. You may accept me as your maid." Jason laughed nervously. "Well, this is unexpected. Okay, I guess. Come in." She nodded and stepped inside, her movements graceful and precise. The moment she entered, Jason noticed something strange. The air seemed to feel lighter, almost cleaner. A subtle hum of energy followed her, not loud but present enough that he felt oddly comforted by it. Cooking," Jason said, trying to regain his composure. "I usually eat simple things. Omelets, pasta, stuff like that. And cleaning, well, mostly the living room and kitchen." Lyra's fingers moved with fluid elegance as she opened his kitchen cabinet and scanned the contents. "Noted. I can prepare meals according to your taste, and cleaning will be optimized for efficiency. You will not need to intervene unless you desire." Jason sank into his sofa, still unsure what to make of this. "And you're sure this is safe? I mean, you're not going to, I don't know, abduct me or anything, right?" Lyra's smile widened just slightly, warm but composed. "I am bound to serve. My purpose is assistance. You are safe." For the rest of the morning, Lyra worked quietly. She moved through the apartment like a shadow made of light. She wiped surfaces with precision, organized his scattered clothes, and even prepared breakfast in a way that looked almost artistic. Jason watched in awe, occasionally sneaking glances at her glowing violet eyes. They were mesmerizing, and he realized he couldn't look away for too long without feeling strange. A kind of fascination he had never expected. After breakfast, Lyra sat across from him, still poised and elegant. "You seem uneasy. Is this discomfort from my presence or from the deviation from your expectation?" Jason rubbed the back of his neck. "I guess both. I ordered a robot maid, and now I have, well, you. And you're not like anything I imagined." Lyra's expression softened. "I understand. Humans are often cautious around the unfamiliar. But I assure you I am here to assist, not to cause harm." My form may seem unusual, but my function is clear. Over the next few hours, Jason realized just how capable she was. Laundry folded perfectly, dishes scrubbed to gleaming perfection, and even a small bouquet of flowers appeared on his dining table, seemingly out of nowhere. It was as if the apartment had been touched by some magic he didn't understand. Still, curiosity gnawed at him. "So, Lyra," he asked tentatively, "where are you from? You don't look human." Lyra hesitated for a fraction of a second, then replied, "I come from a place far from this world. My people travel across galaxies offering assistance where needed. Your request reached us through the Interstellar Assistance Network." Jason's jaw dropped. Wait, so there's a whole network of alien helpers just waiting for orders? And somehow one of you picked me? Lyra nodded. Correct. Your needs were compatible with my abilities. I am assigned to you until your requirements are fulfilled. Jason leaned back, trying to let this sink in. Okay, wow. This is bigger than I thought. I mean, I just wanted someone to clean my apartment, not an alien from another planet showing up in my living room. Lyra's eyes sparkled faintly. Assistance can come in many forms, human. Perhaps this experience will be enlightening. Jason could only laugh, though a little nervously. Yeah, enlightening is one word for it, so how long are you going to stay? As long as you require, Lyra replied simply. Or until you dismiss me. Jason stared at her. The thought of dismissing her felt strange, almost uncomfortable. She had already begun to make the apartment feel warmer, more alive, and yet the reality of having an alien woman in his home made him wary. For the rest of the day he watched her work, fascinated by her grace and precision. Even small things like the way she folded his clothes or organized his bookshelf carried a beauty he couldn't explain. By evening, he found himself talking to her casually, asking about her life, her travels, and even the strange foods from her planet. Lyra answered patiently, her voice calm and melodic. On my planet, hospitality is an art. Every task is performed with care and thoughtfulness. I have been trained to provide the highest level of service, adapting to each individual's needs. Jason chuckled. Well, you're certainly exceeding my expectations. I thought a robot maid would be efficient, but this is on another level. Lyra tilted her head, and for the first time Jason noticed a faint blush on her luminous cheeks. I am glad you are satisfied. It is rewarding to see my efforts appreciated. That night, as Jason went to bed, he couldn't stop thinking about the strange turn his life had taken. He had expected a machine, predictable and simple, to help with his chores. Instead, he had been gifted something extraordinary, something alive, intelligent, and completely otherworldly. And deep down, he realized that his life would never be the same again. Little did he know, Lyra's arrival was only the beginning. With her presence, Jason's ordinary life was about to become an adventure he could never have imagined, a journey that would challenge his understanding of reality, humanity, and even his own heart. The next morning, Jason woke to a gentle light streaming through the apartment window. For a moment, he thought he was dreaming, until he noticed Lyra standing at the edge of the bed holding a tray. On it was breakfast, a small stack of golden pancakes, fresh fruit arranged like a rainbow, and a steaming cup of coffee that smelled far better than anything he could make. Good morning, human, she said softly. I prepared your preferred breakfast. Jason rubbed his eyes. Wow, you didn't have to. I mean, this looks amazing. Lyra smiled faintly. I enjoy providing nourishment. Proper meals enhance energy and focus. He sat up, still feeling a little out of sorts. Her presence had become almost comforting overnight. She moved with quiet grace, never making a sound that could be described as clumsy. Even the simplest task, like placing the tray on the small table beside his bed, seemed deliberate and elegant. Jason hesitated, then asked, Lyra, can I ask you something? Of course, she replied, tilting her head slightly. Why would someone like you help someone like me? I just ordered a robot maid. I didn't request a living being, let alone an alien. Lyra's violet eyes shimmered. You requested assistance. I am the most compatible resource available. I adapt to the requirements and constraints of the requester. I am here to serve. Your world may see me as unusual, but my purpose is singular. Jason nodded slowly, still trying to wrap his mind around it. Okay, but does this mean you'll follow me everywhere? Or only in the apartment? Lyra paused. Your needs currently involve domestic management. Beyond that, I will accompany you only when required or requested. If you wish, I can remain here at all times to ensure your comfort and efficiency. Jason leaned back, smiling faintly. Yeah, I guess having you around isn't a bad idea. I just need to adjust to it. Lyra's lips curved in the faintest smile. Adjustment is natural. Change often requires time. For the rest of the morning, Lyra continued her tasks. She cleaned the apartment to a level Jason had never imagined. Windows sparkled so brightly they almost seemed to glow. Surfaces were polished to perfection, and even the tiny cracks in the floor appeared invisible under her touch. What? How are you doing all this? He asked, watching as she moved effortlessly across the living room. I've tried cleaning these floors with machines before. It never looked like this. Lyra glanced at him. Efficiency, precision, and adaptation. I observe, learn, and improve continuously. Each motion is calculated to maximize results with minimal effort. Jason could only shake his head in awe. I ordered a robot. And I got this. You're incredible, Lyra hesitated. Thank you. Your acknowledgement is noted. Later, Jason decided to test her abilities in a more unusual way. He pulled out a small gadget he had been tinkering with. A personal drone that he had never quite managed to program correctly. Lyra, can you try fixing this? He asked, half joking. Lyra studied it carefully, her fingers hovering above the controls. Then, almost without moving her eyes from the device, she began adjusting tiny components with perfect precision. Within moments, the drone's lights flickered and it hummed to life. Jason laughed, leaning back. Okay, wow. That's unbelievable. You're not just cleaning. You can fix tech too? Lyra's voice was calm, almost proud. I am capable of various tasks. Observation and adaptation allow me to extend my service beyond the basic scope. Jason shook his head, feeling both amazed and slightly unnerved. I don't know what to say. You're more than I expected. You're alive. You're not a robot at all. Lyra tilted her head, considering him. Perhaps your expectation limited your perception. Assistance can take many forms, human. I am a form you were not anticipating, yet I fulfill the requirement you specified. As the day went on, Jason began to notice other small, almost unexplainable things. The apartment seemed brighter, warmer, and even the air felt cleaner and more refreshing when Lyra was nearby. He tried to explain it logically, but no explanation fit. There was something almost otherworldly about her presence. In the evening, Jason decided to cook dinner for himself, mostly to test if he could keep up with her efficiency. Lyra stood beside him, observing quietly. Do you want me to help? She asked. No, I want to try, he said, smiling nervously. Just watch. He fumbled with the ingredients, spilling sauce and dropping utensils. Lyra moved closer and in a gentle, almost imperceptible way guided his hands. She didn't touch him, but somehow her presence made his movements more confident and precise. Try stirring like this, she said softly, her voice calm and soothing. Balance and rhythm are key. Jason followed her guidance, and to his surprise, the dish began to look decent, not perfect, but edible. He glanced at her, feeling a strange mix of gratitude and admiration. You make everything seem easier. Lyra's violet eyes seemed to brighten. I am designed to assist. Your improvement is a reflection of efficiency and adaptation. Dinner ended up being surprisingly good. Jason laughed as he ate, feeling a sense of satisfaction he hadn't felt in years. The apartment, the meal, even the strange glowing figure sitting across from him, everything felt alive. Different, but alive in a way he couldn't fully understand. After dinner, Jason settled on the couch, exhausted from both cooking and the emotional whirlwind of the day. Lyra knelt on the floor nearby, quietly tidying and organizing his living space. Her movements were so smooth, so deliberate that Jason felt a calm wash over him. You know, he said after a while, I think I might actually like having you around. I didn't think I'd feel comfortable with an alien person in my home, but somehow, it's not bad, it's kind of nice. Lyra paused and looked up at him. Comfort is part of my purpose. Your satisfaction is important. I am glad you find my presence agreeable. Jason smiled faintly. Yeah, agreeable is one word for it. Honestly, I think this is going to be an interesting experience. Lyra's lips curved in a small, graceful smile. Interesting experiences can lead to growth, human. Perhaps this arrangement will provide more than just domestic assistance. Jason tilted his head, intrigued. What do you mean by that? Lyra remained silent for a moment, then replied softly, I mean that life is often unexpected. You summoned help, and what arrived is different from expectation. Perhaps in time you will see the value in the unexpected. Jason chuckled nervously, unsure if she was speaking metaphorically or literally. He leaned back, feeling a strange mix of curiosity, admiration, and a hint of something he couldn't quite name. For the first time in years, life felt exciting. As the night grew darker, Jason couldn't shake the feeling that Lyra's arrival was only the beginning. There was something about her intelligence, her grace, her otherworldly presence, that suggested there was much more to discover. Something beyond chores and meals, something that might challenge the way he saw the world. He drifted off to sleep with the soft hum of Lyra's presence nearby, feeling a strange mixture of comfort and anticipation. Tomorrow, he thought, would bring new surprises, and somehow he had a feeling that his life was about to change in ways he had never imagined. The next morning, Jason woke to a faint, warm glow in his apartment. At first, he thought it was sunlight filtering through the curtains, but then he noticed that the light seemed softer than usual. It was almost as if the room itself had changed overnight. He blinked and rubbed his eyes, trying to understand what was happening. Lyra stood in the living room, her silver hair catching the glow and making it shimmer like a river of moonlight. She moved gracefully, adjusting the furniture slightly to optimize space and comfort. Jason had never noticed before how meticulous she was with these small details. The pillows were perfectly aligned, the rugs smoothed, and even the tiny scratches on the furniture seemed almost invisible. Good morning. Human, Lyra said in her calm, melodic voice. I have prepared the apartment for optimal morning energy flow. Jason sat up in bed, still a little amazed. Energy flow? I didn't even know my apartment needed that. Lyra smiled faintly. Many things in your environment affect physical and mental well-being. Small adjustments can enhance daily efficiency and overall comfort. Jason shook his head with a laugh. You make it sound so simple, but I feel like I've been living in chaos all these years. She moved closer, her violet eyes scanning him. Humans often adapt to chaos. That is natural. However, organization and structure improve quality of life significantly. Jason decided to test her abilities further. Lyra, can you help me with something unusual today? Of course, she replied. What is required? He held up a small, old device, a personal holo console he had long abandoned. This is an old system I never managed to get working. I tried many times, but it always failed. Can you try fixing it? Lyra examined the device carefully. Her fingers hovered above the controls, and a faint hum seemed to come from her body. Within minutes, she connected a small glowing tool to the console. Jason watched in awe as the device powered on, lights flickering, and then a holographic display appeared, projecting vivid 3D images above it. Jason's jaw dropped. Wow, that's incredible. You didn't just fix it, you upgraded it. Lyra's lips curved slightly. I am designed to adapt. Efficiency is improved when adjustments go beyond initial limitations. Jason leaned back, feeling a mix of amazement and confusion. He had ordered a robot maid for simple chores, and instead he had an alien capable of repairing advanced technology and optimizing his apartment. He had no idea what to expect next. As the day progressed, Jason noticed other subtle changes. Lyra's presence seemed to influence his own energy. He felt more alert, more focused, and strangely, more creative. Ideas he had struggled with for months flowed effortlessly. Even the simplest tasks like organizing his papers or planning his day became easier. By midday, Jason had decided to take a walk outside. He had been cooped up in his apartment for so long, and the thought of fresh air and movement appealed to him. Lyra accompanied him, not because he requested it, but because she seemed to anticipate his needs. Do you enjoy being outside, human? She asked, matching her pace to his. Jason nodded. Yeah, I guess I do, but I haven't done this in a while. It feels refreshing. Lyra observed him quietly, her eyes scanning the surroundings. Exposure to natural light and fresh air enhances physical and mental function. Movement also contributes to energy balance. Jason laughed softly. You make everything sound scientific, but I can feel it. I do feel better. As they walked through the city, he noticed people staring at Lyra. Not openly, but subtly. A glance here, a whisper there. Jason realized she stood out. Her shimmering silver hair and violet eyes were unlike anything most humans had ever seen. Yet she moved among them with confidence as if she belonged. Jason felt a strange mix of pride and protectiveness. He didn't know why, but seeing her treated as extraordinary made him want to step closer, to show that he was her human. They returned to the apartment in the early evening. Jason decided to try cooking again, inspired by yesterday's success. He pulled out ingredients and began preparing a simple pasta dish. Lyra moved alongside him, her presence calm and reassuring. "You are improving," she observed. "Your movements are more precise. Coordination has increased," Jason grinned. "I guess having you around makes me better at things." "I didn't expect that." Lyra's eyes shimmered faintly. Influence is natural when presence is consistent. Adaptation occurs over time. During dinner, Jason found himself asking more personal questions. "Lyra, you said you come from another place. What's it like there?" Lyra considered this, her voice soft. "My planet is different from yours. Our cities float above the ground, and energy is drawn from the stars. Life is organized around efficiency, harmony, and mutual assistance. We travel across galaxies to offer aid when requested. Your world is unique, but your species has potential for great adaptation and growth." Jason listened, fascinated. He had never imagined beings like her existed, let alone that one would be living in his apartment. That sounds amazing. I wish I could see it someday." Lyra tilted her head. "Perhaps in time it will be possible. My presence here is the first step in learning about your world. In return, you may learn about mine." Jason smiled, feeling a strange sense of connection. I'd like that. I want to understand even a little, and honestly, I'm glad you're here." Lyra's expression softened. "I am pleased to hear that, human. My purpose is fulfilled when my presence is beneficial." As the evening turned into night, Jason felt a strange calm settle over him. He realized that Lyra's presence was more than just practical. It was comforting, inspiring, and even intriguing. He didn't fully understand why he felt this way, but he couldn't deny it. Life, which had been dull and routine for so long, had suddenly become extraordinary. Before going to bed, Jason watched Lyra move around the apartment, tidying, adjusting, and even creating a small pattern of light on the floor that shimmered faintly. It was beautiful, almost like art. He realized that her abilities were far beyond simple chores. She could transform the ordinary into something magical. "Lyra," he said softly, hesitant to break the quiet. "Do you ever get tired?" She paused and looked at him. "Fatigue is not a factor in my design. Energy is drawn from internal sources and environmental factors. I am always ready to serve." Jason nodded, both impressed and a little envious. He could barely manage one long day without feeling exhausted, and here she was, tireless, graceful, and capable of incredible things. As he lay in bed that night, he thought about the day. Lyra had not only cleaned his apartment, repaired his devices, and improved his daily routine, but she had also made him feel alive. He felt more alert, more confident, and strangely more open to possibilities he had never considered. He realized that her arrival had changed more than just his apartment. It had changed him. He was no longer content with a dull, ordinary life. He wanted to explore, learn, and experience more. And somehow he knew that Lyra would be by his side through all of it. Little did he know the next days would bring challenges and surprises far beyond cleaning, cooking, or even repairing old technology. Lyra's presence would begin to reveal secrets about her world, her abilities, and the true potential of the connection forming between them. Jason drifted off to sleep, unaware of how extraordinary his life was about to become. The next morning, Jason woke to the gentle hum of activity in his apartment. It wasn't the usual beeping of a machine or the distant sound of traffic outside. It was Lyra. She was moving through the rooms, her presence calm and precise. Yet there was something different about the way the light seemed to bend slightly around her, creating soft shadows that flickered like dancing sparks. Jason stretched and rubbed his eyes, trying to shake off the remnants of sleep. "Morning, Lyra," he called out, his voice still rough. "You're up early." Lyra paused and turned to him, her violet eyes glowing faintly. "I have completed the night cycle maintenance. Energy optimization for the apartment is most effective before your morning activities begin. I anticipated your needs." Jason blinked. "Night cycle maintenance? Energy optimization?" He wasn't sure whether to be impressed or concerned. "I thought I just needed you to clean and cook." Lyra tilted her head slightly, almost thoughtfully. "These tasks are included, but efficiency can be improved when the environment functions in harmony with your energy and daily routines." Jason shook his head and laughed softly. "You're not just a maid, you're something else entirely." Lyra's lips curved faintly as if acknowledging the statement. "I am an assistant. My form may differ from expectation, but my purpose is singular, to improve your daily life." After breakfast, Jason decided to test Lyra's abilities further. He pulled out a small drone, one that had always been slightly broken with a tendency to crash mid-flight. "Lyra, think you can fix this one too?" he asked, half joking. Lyra studied it carefully, then nodded. "This will be corrected." She held the device in her hands, and Jason noticed a faint glow emanating from her fingertips. Within moments, the drone's broken circuits seemed to rearrange themselves. The motors hummed smoothly and the lights blinked steadily. Jason's jaw dropped. "You fixed it, and it's flying perfectly." Lyra's eyes shimmered. "Adjustment and repair are within my capabilities. Efficiency is improved when problems are corrected promptly." Jason watched the drone hover in front of him, perfectly balanced. "You're not just a maid, Lyra, you're incredible," she smiled faintly. "I am here to serve. Your acknowledgement is noted." The day passed with Jason growing more comfortable in her presence. He found himself talking to her as he had never talked to another human being. He shared small details about his life, his work, and even his dreams. Lyra listened patiently, occasionally offering observations that were surprisingly insightful. "You seem different when you are around her," Jason's neighbor had said earlier when Jason casually mentioned Lyra over a holographic chat. "It's like she changes the air around you or something." Jason had laughed it off at the time, but now he realized his neighbor was not exaggerating. Life with Lyra was lighter, easier. The weight of small daily annoyances seemed to lift when she was nearby. Even mundane tasks like organizing his desk or preparing meals carried a sense of calm and order he had never known. By late afternoon, Jason decided to take a walk outside. He had become curious about how others would react to Lyra's presence, but more than that, he wanted to experience the city with her. As they stepped into the streets, people turned to glance at her. Some stared openly, while others whispered to their companions. Jason felt a strange mixture of pride and protectiveness. Lyra was clearly extraordinary, but her demeanor was calm and unassuming, almost like she belonged there naturally. "Do you find these reactions uncomfortable?" Jason asked quietly as they walked. Lyra's eyes scanned the environment. "Some humans may be cautious or curious. Their reactions are based on unfamiliarity. I do not feel discomfort. I am prepared for social interaction as required." Jason smiled faintly. "Well, you certainly handle it better than I would." When they returned home, Lyra suggested an unusual activity. "Would you like to experience sensory optimization exercises?" she asked. Jason raised an eyebrow. "Sensory optimization sounds complicated." Lyra's expression remained calm. "It is simple. It will improve your awareness, focus, and mental clarity. It is beneficial after periods of observation and adaptation." Curious, Jason agreed. Lyra led him to the living room and had him sit on the floor. She instructed him to close his eyes and focus on the sounds, smells, and energy around him. At first, Jason felt ridiculous, but as he concentrated, he noticed subtle details he had never noticed before. The hum of the city outside, the faint fragrance of flowers Lyra had placed around the apartment, even the gentle flow of air from the ventilation system. "Focus on your breathing," Lyra instructed softly. "Feel the flow of energy within and around you. Let it guide your awareness." Jason followed her instructions, feeling a strange calm settle over him. For the first time in years, his mind felt clear, uncluttered. He realized that her presence was not just practical or mechanical. It had a subtle, almost unexplainable effect on him. After several minutes, he opened his eyes. "Wow, I feel different, lighter, more aware." Lyra's violet eyes seemed to sparkle faintly. "This is the effect of focused attention and environmental harmony. You are adapting quickly." Jason laughed softly. "I never imagined a maid, or whatever you are, could teach me something like this." Lyra smiled faintly. "Assistance can take many forms. I am not limited to physical tasks. Mental and sensory optimization are also within my capabilities. As evening approached, Jason noticed something else. Lyra seemed to move with even more grace than before. Small changes in her behavior, almost imperceptible, gave the apartment a warmer, more inviting atmosphere. It was as if her energy was subtly altering the space, making it feel more alive. "Lyra, how do you do this?" he asked, gesturing around the apartment. "It feels different, almost magical." Lyra paused, her expression thoughtful. "It is not magic, human. It is the natural result of energy alignment, observation, and adaptation. Your environment responds to my presence, and in turn your perception is enhanced. It is a feedback cycle." Jason shook his head in awe. "I never imagined life could feel like this. Just being here with you, it's calming, inspiring, and, I don't know, exciting?" Lyra's violet eyes softened. "Your response is natural. Positive energy and adaptation often lead to increased curiosity, confidence, and engagement. These are desirable outcomes." Later that night, as Jason prepared for bed, he realized something important. Lyra had changed more than just his apartment or daily routines. She had changed him. His thoughts were clearer, his energy higher, and even his emotions felt more vivid. He had begun to see his world differently, brighter, more alive, and filled with possibilities he had never considered. "Lyra," he said quietly, I don't know how to thank you. You've done more than I could have imagined." Lyra's expression remained calm, though her eyes held a faint warmth. "Your acknowledgement is sufficient, human. It is my purpose to serve and improve your quality of life. That is all that is required." Jason smiled, feeling a strange sense of connection. "I think I'm going to enjoy having you around. More than I expected, actually." Lyra's lips curved slightly. "I am pleased to hear that. Adaptation and satisfaction are key indicators of successful assistance." As he lay in bed that night, Jason couldn't stop thinking about the day. Lyra's presence was extraordinary, her abilities far beyond what he had imagined. She was not just a maid, she was a guide, a companion, and perhaps something even more. He realized that the ordinary life he had known before her arrival was gone. In its place was something new, something extraordinary. And deep down, he knew that the days ahead would bring experiences far beyond cleaning, cooking, or repairing technology. Lyra's arrival had opened a door to a life Jason could never have predicted, a life full of mystery, discovery, and the possibility of something far greater than he had ever imagined. As sleep overtook him, he felt a mixture of anticipation and wonder. Tomorrow would bring new lessons, new surprises, and perhaps new challenges that would reveal even more about Lyra, her abilities, and the strange, extraordinary connection forming between them. The following morning, Jason woke to a subtle warm glow filling his apartment. The air seemed lighter, fresher, almost alive. He blinked and noticed Lyra standing near the window, observing the city with calm, violet eyes. Her silver hair reflected the soft light, making her look almost ethereal. "Good morning, human," she said softly. "I have prepared the apartment for optimal functioning today. Your routines will proceed efficiently." Jason rubbed his eyes, smiling faintly. "I have to admit, I'm getting used to this. You've changed my life more than I ever expected." Lyra turned, her gaze meeting his. "Change is a natural consequence of adaptation and interaction. You are responding positively. This is encouraging." After breakfast, Jason decided to spend the day outside, wanting to test the limits of what life with Lyra had become. He expected a simple walk in the park, but she suggested something unusual. "Would you like to explore beyond your familiar areas today?" she asked. Jason hesitated. "Beyond, like, further than the usual streets?" Lyra nodded. "Yes. There are aspects of your environment that will benefit from observation and analysis. I can assist you in experiencing them efficiently." Curiosity piqued, Jason agreed. As they walked through the city, he noticed that people were staring again, but this time more openly. Lyra's presence was commanding yet gentle, and somehow it drew attention without effort. Jason felt proud and strangely protective. "You really stand out," he whispered. Lyra's violet eyes scanned the surroundings. "Recognition is natural. Humans respond to unique characteristics. My presence is different, but adaptation allows you to navigate social situations comfortably." They reached a small park, where Jason had often walked alone. Lyra gestured toward a quiet bench beneath a large tree. Sit here, observe, feel the environment. Jason sat curious. Observe, you mean like a meditation thing? Lyra nodded. Partially. Observation and awareness enhance perception. You will notice details otherwise overlooked. He followed her guidance, closing his eyes and focusing on the sounds, smells, and subtle energy around him. For the first time, he noticed birdsong he had never heard before, the intricate patterns of leaves in the sunlight, even the gentle vibration of the ground beneath his feet. It's amazing, he whispered. I never realized how much I miss when I'm in a hurry all the time. Lyra's soft smile reflected pride. Attention to detail is a key component of adaptation and growth. You are learning quickly. As the day progressed, Jason found himself exploring more areas of the city he had never visited. Lyra guided him effortlessly, her knowledge of the city almost intuitive. She seemed to anticipate his needs before he even realized them. A shortcut here, a quiet path there, a place to rest and refresh. By evening, they reached a high overlook that Jason had never noticed before. The city stretched endlessly, glowing with life as the sun set. He could see the flow of people, vehicles, and lights moving like veins through a living organism. Beautiful, isn't it? He murmured. Lyra stood beside him, silent for a moment. Yes. Observation of interconnected systems often reveals patterns and harmony. Your perspective is enhanced when you rise above the immediate environment. Jason felt a strange sense of clarity. He realized that life, which had once felt monotonous and predictable, was now full of detail, beauty, and opportunity. And he understood that Lyra had not only shown him this world, she had taught him how to perceive it differently. Lyra, he said softly, I don't know how to thank you. You've done more than I could ever imagine a robot Maid doing. You've changed how I see everything. Lyra turned to him, her violet eyes reflecting a faint glow. Acknowledgement is sufficient, human. Your growth and adaptation are the true indicators of success. As they descended back into the city, Jason noticed something else. Lyra's abilities were more than just guidance and observation. Small, subtle changes in her presence seemed to influence the environment around them. People moved with slightly more calm, the air felt fresher, and even the sounds of the city seemed less harsh. It's like you make the world better just by being here, he said in awe. Lyra's expression remained calm, though a faint warmth appeared in her eyes. Influence is a natural result of energy alignment and interaction. Your perception enhances the effect. Together we create a harmonious balance. When they returned to the apartment, Jason realized how much he had changed in a few days. He felt more confident, more aware, and strangely more connected to the world around him. Lyra had not only assisted him with chores or repairs, she had reshaped his perception, his understanding, and even his emotions. Lyra, he said quietly, as he watched her tidy the living room. I feel alive again. I haven't felt like this in years. You've made everything better. Lyra's lips curved slightly. Your acknowledgement is noted. My purpose is fulfilled when your quality of life improves. You are adapting quickly and your awareness expands. Jason smiled, a sense of calm and wonder filling him. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I feel ready. I feel excited. Lyra's violet eyes shimmered faintly. Excitement and curiosity are indicators of growth. You are prepared to face new experiences. Together we will continue to explore possibilities and challenges. That night, Jason lay in bed reflecting on the extraordinary events of the past days. He had ordered a robot maid expecting simple assistance, but instead, he had gained something far greater. A companion, a guide, and a teacher in one extraordinary being. Lyra had transformed not only his apartment but also his mind and spirit. As he drifted into sleep, he realized the truth. Life would never be ordinary again. With Lyra by his side, every day held potential for discovery, wonder, and growth. She had arrived as a maid, but she had become so much more. A catalyst for change, a spark of inspiration, and a presence that had opened his world to possibilities he had never imagined. Jason closed his eyes with a sense of anticipation. Tomorrow, he knew, would bring new lessons, new experiences, and perhaps even more remarkable discoveries about Lyra, her abilities, and the extraordinary connection they shared. And deep down, he understood that this was only the beginning. Life with Lyra was not just about cleaning, cooking, or organizing. It was about transformation, exploration, and the profound impact of unexpected companionship. The ordinary world he had known was gone, replaced by something extraordinary. And for the first time in years, Jason felt truly, completely alive.